From the Nibiru Planet X 2016 channel. Scott, how you doing, man?
What's happening, buddy?
It's all good. It is amazing what's happening these days, though, isn't it?
Yes, I'd have to agree with you 100%.
It just stuns me. Every day it's a new piece of evidence, Scott. Every day it's a new insight, and we're just picking up these breadcrumbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could feel you on the waking up, and every day is, yeah, I wonder, okay, I'm going to open up the laptop, going to look at the cell phone, open up the email, and what is going to be there? And sure enough, the days, they don't fail me. Today was one of those days.
Yeah, and so what we have up here on the screen, and I'll let you explain it, but let me explain to you guys. Scott, Jeff P., Steve Olson, Wayne Steiger, all of these Nibiru Wormwood channels, we collaborate. And this is just an example of that. Scott, this is remarkable. Can you tell us what we're seeing here?
Yeah, this started back a few months ago with one of our German subscribers. She was taking photographs of the sun and sending them to me, and she uses an old-fashioned technique. I'm not a photographer. I can't even begin to explain the technique that she uses, but it's almost like you're taking antique photographs, like back in the days of the cowboys, you know, and like if you go to a carnival or something, they dress you up and they take those antique photographs of you. But she actually uses 35 millimeter film and not a digital camera. And she uses a very high-powered, I think it's like a telescopic lens on her camera. And she was taking photographs of the sun. And first, she sent me the photograph on the right-hand side of the screen if you're facing it. And I got that photograph about a week or two before I got the photograph on the left. And that photograph,
so what we see is this lady, this subscriber of yours is just getting better at her technique.
Yeah. I mean, she was very confused at the development of the film. Because, I mean, I couldn't even make out, like, I couldn't even imagine what is that? You know, it doesn't look like the sun. It doesn't look like a planet. You know, it looks like some type of an object, like a device of some kind or whatever. And I really couldn't make it out. And then a little bit of time went by, and, you know, I was trying to investigate this whole sun simulation because I just don't believe that what we're seeing and feeling in the sky is genuine. It just doesn't make sense. The rainbow clouds, you know, the way that the sun shines with blue rays of sun, the perfect square formations of lens flares that look like flower petals. I've never seen anything like that. Never. And for them to be in a perfect square pattern or a round pattern, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And so the lady took that photograph that you see on your screen right now, the odd-shaped one there, and she sent that to me. She said, Scott, I'm very, very confused. I do not know what this is. I took a photograph of the sun. It was a telescopic photo. She has a filter that blocks out the rays of the sun. And I think the photograph is kind of reversed, meaning that's why it has that black background in it. Not sure the technique, but this is how it came out. And she was studying the picture. And then I put the picture out there to a few people that do photography. And here we go. Another man from Germany, and very, very older gentleman, elderly, and he always had a fascination with lighthouses. He saw that photograph, he emailed me, and he said, Scott, my Jove, I think I got it. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, remember that picture that you showed the lady took of the sun that looked very, very odd, that didn't even look like the sun? And I said, yeah. He says, I know what it is. I said, okay, well, don't hold me in suspense. Tell me what it is. He said, have you ever heard of a Fresnel lens? I said, absolutely not. And he said, well, hurry up, get on your computer and look it up so we can talk about it. I did. And I said, are you telling me that this is coming from a lighthouse? He said, well, the lens technology may be coming from a lighthouse, but he goes, I think this is what is in the sky. This is what they're using. And this is very, very old lens technology, but placed together with modern technology, which is probably 20 to 30 years ahead than what we actually know of. This is the possibility that they may have combined an old-fashioned, modernized Fresnel lens and other lenses to create the sun simulation. Now, you know, we're never going to know exactly why they did this. Is the sun draining? Is the brown dwarf draining the energy from the star itself? It can't heat the Earth? Or are they trying to create this blast of sun so we can't see it? Or is it a combination of the two? We'll never get the truth from them. I mean, you know that, right?
Oh, yeah, but I can tell you one thing, that you see that ball in the middle of the image, Scott, that round orb?
Yep, it's casting a shadow, isn't it?
No. It's hard to tell. But what I can tell you is, see how it's got those little speckled white dots all over it?
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Okay, so if you ask my subscribers and we looked at this thing and we look at this and look at this, we keep getting this little refraction that is hard to explain because it's this little orb with all these little lights all over it.
Oh, is it aqua blue?
Yes, right.
I got pictures of it, buddy. I got tons of them. Yes,
Well,
I know. Yes.
Something clicked when I said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that might be what we're refracting? Is that little orb in the middle?
It's a possibility because it actually looks like it is standing alone in the sky. I mean, it could almost pass for a planet itself if you without the untrained eye. And I have zoomed in on it 100,000 times because it looks pretty cool in the sky. But as soon as you zoom into it, it can actually position itself and make it look like it's behind a cloud. But you can see these little bright white luminous dots on it. And that's what I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what that ball reminds me of. And so I have a feeling that they're doing two things. I think, one, they're generating light because when the sun is dimming, Scott, I was just talking to Paul Begley about this. Let's assume that we're correct in our theories at WSO, and I think you share our theories that the sun is being discharged, and we actually can time it now. You know?
Yeah.
And and let's say that if the sun was going to dim, man, that would freak people out pretty bad, even if it went down 50% in brightness, let's say.
Yeah, because it could possibly be, I mean, we don't know what time this is occurring.
Right.
Say for instance, it would happen at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So everybody on the light side of the moon, the daytime side of the sun, would actually look up and say, what the hell is going on? Because the sun would probably look like it was about ready to set if it was going dim.
Hey, did you see that video from Richie from Boston when he was with his girlfriend and he was filming the sun directly? And he said he could look right now. Nobody, WSO nor Scott's channel, our channels don't want you looking at the sun with your bare eyes, okay?
Yeah, you'll go blind.
Right, please don't do that. We don't know when the sun's going to come out from behind the shield and when it's behind the shield. But Richie did look directly at the sun, and I also did the same experiment, by the way. And I saw the same thing that Richie saw. I saw a rotating disc in front of the sun, and I could look right at it. Wow. And that was at sunset.
I mean, there has to be something there. This rainbow prism effect. Now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the sun cannot create its own prism, correct?
That is correct. Light is photon will travel just in a straight line unless it's affected by something else.
Yeah, so if something's bending it through glass that can create that rainbow prism, then that is something that is not natural to nature.
That's correct. And the other thing that's interesting, and I think do you have any pictures that you want to show, Scott? Because I can turn the screen over to you if you'd like.
Yeah, let me see. This is a photograph this lady sent me also. She was trying to, it's very dim. I didn't have a chance to work with it yet, but it's not the moon. She was photographing this red planet. She could see it with her naked eye, and it was a little dim. And this is what she captured.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. And she's using that very long telescopic lens on her camera. And remember, these are photographs on film, not digital, because you could see as I zoomed into that real hard, it didn't pixelize like a digital camera.
God bless film. And I always wondered, and I don't know why I just don't get off my butt and then pull out my Pentax camera, Scott, and start looking, at more film. But this reminds me of the object that Mark Reed captured down in Australia, and the one that we've been seeing on the Secchi images, and been seeing, where else did we see this? We saw this on that 2011 footage. So there's what we call that is the monster orb, or I don't know what we call it. What do you call it?
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, that thing is absolutely, I mean, that's an amazing photograph for it not to pixelize like that, because you lose so much definition in the photograph with digital. Digital may be crystal clear when you're looking at a normal image, but you can't zoom it. And going back to old-fashioned film, man, this may be the way to go.
I know, right? And the other thing that I think about with old-fashioned film is it could probably defeat a lot of these lensing effects too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't know if I sent you this picture, but this is another photograph that she took. And
Well, thank you for sharing this with our audience, Scott. I really appreciate your generosity, man.
Not a problem. When she sent me this picture, I looked at it and I said, what is that? What did you take a picture of a pebble with a broken piece out of it? What happened? And she said, no. She says, this is something that's been appearing also. And, I was able to photograph it with that same lens. Now, once again, you notice that as hard as we zoom into it, it doesn't pixelize at all. None. Zero. Straight film, buddy. 35 millimeter. And
the experiment that I'd like to see somebody do with film, and if I have time, I'll try to do it, because I do have my old, Pentax camera I had from high school back in 1978, And, yeah, that's right. I'm old. I get it.
Me too.
But we actually did, one of my friends did an experiment where he did the star shot, where he pointed it at the North Star, and then over the course of several hours, it shows all the stars rotating in a circle around it.
Yeah.
We need to do that experiment to see if the North Star's still on.
Well, my telescope is supposed to be here today. $4,000 telescope, all the software, hook it up to the laptop, the whole 9 yards. It's going on top of my flat garage. And I got a beautiful view, straight due west, no lights surrounding anywhere around me, pitch black. So I'm going to try to learn how to use it as fast as possible. And believe me, I don't care if I have to sit out there all night. I will. I'll sleep in the day, but I will be out there at nighttime with this telescope. This was taken with a digital camera. Now, the same lady that took those other photographs, she cracked off with this photograph, but using a digital camera. She also has one in blue that I'm going to show you. Now, I'm not sure if these are stars, but a star would be so so illuminated, and this isn't. So
yeah, it's disturbingly like that sneaker shot we were looking at the other day. Remember that?
Yeah. And once again, these are digital, so you can see how when we zoom in, they pixelize real bad, unlike the film. But once again, I'm
not used to seeing stars with features or anything. Like when I see a star shot, usually it's a solid,
Exactly.
And
these planets seem to be covered with, is that cloud cover?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a little bit of an atmosphere, or what is it? Are these some of the moons that we haven't seen clearly? Because these are in the sky, and she said that she was seeing these continuously, and it seemed that they were in the same place at the same time every night for about a month. And then, they would kind of move a little bit to the east, and then one night when she went out to photograph, they were gone. So is that the planet, maybe orbiting, Nemesis, the brown dwarf? What is it actually doing? But these are moving through the sky. Because they're so far away, we don't see them with the naked eye. But if somebody's out there looking, and they're looking in the right place, that little bit of space, in space, boom, look what they capture. And then the photograph.
That looks like a big-ass rock to me, man.
Now, once again, this is a digital photograph. This isn't taken with regular 35 millimeter film. It was a very, very tiny little orange-colored dot that she saw, but she noticed that it was all kinds of explosions were coming off of it that she could see. And she started, zooming in, and, cranked off a few of these photographs. And then here we go. These actually look, like some very serious stuff going on there. Are those explosions?
Is that about the same time that we were, that the rumors were going around that we were trying to blow an asteroid out of orbit of the Earth?
Yeah, that was about, these came in at the end of September. Yeah,
so it's about the same time. Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah. Actually, because I got that story out there, and then the first meteor strike was the 26th, I think, or the 27th, something like that. I was about a day off, on that crap. But these are the kind of photographs that I've been getting in, and I've never labeled any of these. This is Planet X, this is Nibiru, but
I'm guessing it's a big planet, and then the features on the feet, those features are what give it away. That little curly C there.
Yeah.
I'll go back and I'll actually pull a couple and send them to you so you can show your subscribers, here's some stuff from Olson's channel that shows this thing from a month ago or 2 months ago, and you can put it up. But yeah, the whole everything, that is the same thing. In fact, that's the same thing that we caught in 2011 when we were looking at Debbie Blue's channel together. And remember how I showed that object flying across the sky in the telescope?
Yeah.
That's the object.
And when she first sent me the photograph, this was taken with film. You can see how big it is on your screen. It's not pixelized. So this is the big difference. When we're trying to photograph these objects from so far away with just our little modern technology. So just like the Fresnel lens and 35 millimeter film, it might be time to go back to old school to clear up.
Man, I think this is an exciting, result. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when she sent me this photograph, I felt like I was back in 9th grade biology class because it looked like some type of a bacteria.
Doesn't it seem like a cell, like the parts of the cell that identify them and all that?
Yes,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, she has sent me a wealth of photographs. And, here's what burns me is, I've publicized all of these photographs in videos on my YouTube channel.
This is the picture of it when it like somehow we catch it around the sun in these satellite photos. Here's one that just shows the three-dimensional hole in it, which is just trippy.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy down in Texas that Rogue Chihuahua, he goes by.
Yeah, that's right, Rogue Chihuahua.
Yeah, Rogue Chihuahua. He sent me the video of this object, and then he sent me some still photographs, and the still photographs, and I'm like, wow, that must have been one violent collision to leave a hole in it like that. Or is that an alien landing pad?
Well, okay, so let's be open-minded to all points of view, right? I mean, some people think that this, and I've actually heard people say that this is actually a big spaceship manned by 2,000 species of people, right?
Well, you never know, man.
I don't want to laugh too hard because here's why. I mean, when I talk, that I come at this. You heard me on Paul's show. I come at this from a Christian perspective. I try not to overdo it, but at the same time, is it possible that that our angels, the angels that are the good angels, use technology too? And stuff like that. So everything I've learned so far does not violate the biblical narrative at all. And again, even if it's mythology in your mind, it's interesting to see that other people in the Old Testament had seen things like this. It's just any way you look at it, right? But,
yeah, and I mean, and here's the thing, brother. How can you legitimately discount anything at this particular time? You cannot. If you discount anything, you're a fool. Because we are in the age and the days of, like we said, every single day, me and you both, we wake up and we have no idea what we're getting into.
Nope. I don't know what direction the day will take every day. I just don't know.
And I always wake up thinking, okay, I'm going to have a common day. And I don't.
What is a common day now? We're doing this job. Oh my God. Right?
And this
before I let you go, I finally found it. This is the one I wanted to show you.
God.
I am so glad I found it before you left, Scott.
Where did you get that?
Lens flare that shows exactly the same thing as you showed in your photograph.
God, this is a holy shite moment. Where did you get that? That's
a subscriber. It's one of those photographs that you look at and you say, okay, that's a cool lens flare.
Can you put the other picture up next to it? It's identical. The one I sent you. Yep. Oh my God.
Isn't this great? This is why it's so great that we work together, you guys.
Oh my God. I wish we had trolls on here with us right now. Oh my God.
So here's that picture straight from the sun.
Look at that. Wow. If we had the ability to do like a transparent overlay,
I bet you it would be identical.
It's like brother and sister.
I mean, you can just see by comparing them.
Wow. And when I put that video up today of the evidence that I got in, and I put a video together very, very quickly. And yeah, exactly. So we have to protect each other. We have to protect our channels because this is what's bringing the information. This is golden. I don't want to be surprised. Okay. I'm fully aware of what's going to happen or what could happen, and I'm going to face it. But you know what? I don't want to be caught by surprise. I don't want to trip and fall on my face. I just want to be prepared. And if something happens to me and I don't make it, I don't make it. But I'm going to go down, like I always say, man, with 2 fists of fury, and I'm going to go down fighting. I'm not going to go down cowering in a corner. And none of us that do this research, we're going to go to the end, man.
Yeah, I'm in this for the. I mean, it's almost like I can't turn back now, Scott. I mean,
You can't.
There's nowhere else for me to go but here, because and then not only am I being validated by your work, it's like the work of Evans, the work of Anthony Patch, the work of I mean, just the list goes on and on and on and on of all these other researchers that may not have the audience that we have. But then you and I get together, and randomly I could go back into my photographs and find something that corroborates this photograph.
I cannot believe
we could do this together all day long, Scott.
I cannot believe you pulled that photograph up. I wish Wayne was here. He would have fell on the floor. That is, Steve, I'm telling you what, buddy, that is absolutely amazing. I cannot believe that.
I'm so glad that I'm glad we had this talk today. I'm glad that we had a chance to talk about and compare, and unbelievable stuff, man. Well,
I had a feeling this was going to be a blow it out of the water day today, and I think that's what we did. We may not have uncovered Nibiru and Planet X, but we definitely are uncovering something of deceit.
Yeah, this is definitely some kind of a device or something that's up there that we have definitely uncovered here. Yep. And, you know, everybody out there, pray for us. Please pray for us.
Absolutely.
And with that, everybody have a good day.
All right, Steve, you take care, buddy.
Hi, everybody. It is Steve Olson and Scott from the Nibiru Planet X 2016 channel. Scott, how you doing, man?
What's happening, buddy?
It's all good. It is amazing what's happening these days, though, isn't it?
Yes, I'd have to agree with you, 100%.
It just stuns me. Every day, it's a new piece of evidence, Scott. Every day, it's a new insight, and we're just picking up these breadcrumbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could feel you on the waking up, and every day is, yeah, I wonder, okay, I'm going to open up the laptop, going to look at the cell phone, open up the email, and what is going to be there. And sure enough, the days, they don't fail me. Today was one of those days.
Yeah, and so what we have up here on the screen, and I'll let you explain it, but let me explain to you guys. Scott, Jeff P., Steve Olson, Wayne Steiger, all of these Nibiru Wormwood channels, we collaborate. And this is just an example of that. Scott, this is remarkable. Can you tell us what we're seeing here?
Yeah, this started back a few months ago with one of our German subscribers. She was taking photographs of the sun and sending them to me, and she uses an old-fashioned technique. I'm not a photographer. I can't even begin to explain the technique that she uses, but it's almost like you're taking antique photographs, like back in the days of the cowboys, you know, and like if you go to a carnival or something, they dress you up and they take those antique photographs of you. But she actually uses 35 millimeter film and not a digital camera. And she uses a very high-powered, I think it's like a telescopic lens on her camera. And she was taking photographs of the sun. And first, she sent me the photograph on the right-hand side of the screen if you're facing it. And I got that photograph about a week or two before I got the photograph on the left. And that photograph, so
what we see is this lady, this subscriber of yours is just getting better at her technique.
Yeah. I mean, she was very confused at the development of the film. Because, I mean, I couldn't even make out, like, I couldn't even imagine what is that? You know, it doesn't look like the sun. It doesn't look like a planet. You know, it looks like some type of an object, like a device of some kind or whatever. And I really couldn't make it out. And then a little bit of time went by, and, you know, I was trying to investigate this whole sun simulation because I just don't believe that what we're seeing and feeling in the sky is genuine. It just doesn't make sense. The rainbow clouds, you know, the way that the sun shines with blue rays of sun, the perfect square formations of lens flares that look like flower petals. I've never seen anything like that. Never. And for them to be in a perfect square pattern or a round pattern, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And so the lady took that photograph that you see on your screen right now, the odd-shaped one there, and she sent that to me. She said, Scott, I'm very, very confused. I do not know what this is.